We have plenty of time right now as this rides alongside a lot of jobs, but this is a big transformation. And so that alone is a big enough trend. Yes, there's a lot of cybersecurity threats. There's a lot of stuff people need to do. And then for all of those of you who have elderly parents, they're just ripe for getting taken advantage of by all of the technology that goes along with all the AI.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Grow IT podcast. One of your hosts here, Trey King. And today we are very excited to have our guest, Mr. Harold Mann from Mann Consulting. And we'll be diving into his story a bit and what it is his company does, as well as some engaging insights, as always, into the technology industry. So stick around for this one. But without further ado, Harold, welcome. Thanks for hopping on.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
Harold, I think it's good if you maybe can start by you introducing yourself and just tell us a quick snippet, some of your background, if you don't mind, please.
Sure. One day I was working in my job at an ad agency, and I had this feeling I want to be helping as many people as I can. And right now I'm limited to just helping the people that are in this building. And I just quit without a business plan, without
What?
anything. I just, well,
That's
that's what,
crazy.
yeah. I'm not exactly a job hopper because I've had that and this current job for the last 30 something years. So I would say it was somewhat impulsive, which tracks well with my undiagnosed ADD at the time. And I just wanted to help people. And so I figured if I consult people, then I can help more than just one group. I also didn't like some of the office politics that I just noticed that were happening, that happens in most corporations once you get to a certain size. And I
Sure.
really was naively focused on just wanting to help people and not have to worry about who I was allied with or aligned with and all that sort of stuff. I can't even watch shows like Survivor to this day because it just brings back memories of like, who do you make sure you partner up with? And my feeling is, if you're all just wanting to do good for your business, you should all be contributing and working hard, no matter who gets the credit or who gets the power. So maybe maybe I should have worked in a Japanese auto company because those are notorious for sort of all focusing on what's best for the company, not the individual. Anyway, I started the IT consulting business in 1991,
Yeah.
and it was a studio apartment, and then a one-bedroom apartment, and then a two-bedroom apartment, and then a couple of offices, and now we're a pretty formidably sized managed service provider in our category. And we're just under 20 people, but we work with over 200 companies every year, which is a lot, and thousands of people, which is a lot. And I
Yeah.
still am enthused by it, even 33 years later.
Excellent. Tell me, Harold, what is it about this business sector that you're so passionate about?
Well, it's pretty simple if you keep it simple. So people pay
Well
us
said.
people pay us to help them get their computers working. We probably would do it anyway. So the fact that they would pay us to do it is kind of a bonus. And then once you are getting paid to do something that you would otherwise do just because you're interested in it, then it just becomes a challenge of making sure you're always learning and enjoying it. And the only things that keep you from enjoying it are employees, customers, and vendors, right? So,
Yeah.
meaning you have to be really vigilant to make sure that the things that got you into the business are not taken from you because of all the other things that creep up along the way.
The clutter. Yeah, got you. Gotcha. The you know, based on your expertise, Harold, I mean, you've been at this, business, well, like you said, 35 years, right, in the industry. Based on your expertise, what would you say are the now current market trends, that you are aware of? What's out there these days?
Well, obviously, the AI revolution is,
Yeah.
it really shouldn't be it really can't be overstated at this point because it is going to decimate so many entrenched paradigms, so many beliefs, so many jobs. So it's very exciting. For many people, it's very daunting and threatening, but without a question, the artificial intelligence revolution is going to, like a tsunami, just go through information workers especially, and radically change what we do. This is going to, I think, dwarf the web in terms of the impact it had on the world. It's exciting, and so you have to be ready, and you have to be sort of thinking about how am I going to harness this. And there's always going to be the picks and shovels folks that just try and sort of jump on and sell you something along the way or teach and all that. But I think the key thing is figuring out how is this going to impact my business, and then skating where the puck is going to be rather than just sort of heads down in the sand. This is I call it a blockbuster Netflix opportunity, right? You could stay and be blockbuster, or you can find out, wait, how's this going to work in the future?
That's such a good analogy. So,
Well,
you
it's
know,
a scary one. I mean, I'm haunted by it because Blockbuster was what we all used back in the day,
yes,
and suddenly it was great until it wasn't, as a colleague of mine recently said. So I think it's really figuring out, okay, how should this work in the future? And everybody in my business um, is potentially at risk if they don't think about that for a good long while. Now, we have a lot of time, right? This is the beginning of, used to be you went to the bank teller and then there was this little ATM to the side of it, and everybody was nervous about the ATM, right?
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not, I don't trust the machine, I want to talk with a person. And now when you walk into a bank, you go to the ATM first because you don't really want to deal with the teller because you trust the ATM's accuracy and no small talk. So
mm,
we have plenty of time right now as this rides alongside a lot of jobs, but this is a big transformation. And so that alone is a big enough trend. Yes, there's a lot of cybersecurity threats. There's a lot of stuff people need to do. And then for all of those of you who have elderly parents, they're just ripe for getting taken advantage of by all of the technology that goes along with all the AI. So making sure, that people are being vigilant and have a plan for how to deal with the deep fake videos. My voice
yeah.
right now is on this podcast. Someone will be able to clone it and call my mom and try and steal money from her. So that's a real threat for anybody who has their likeness available in public. It's just a little scary.
Geez, I just wanted to tell you, man, that sounds scary. I mean, the things that can be done now lately, especially now, obviously with AI as well. Um, a lot of our clients on our end, they would argue, cautiously optimistic, you know, whereas most people say, wanting to embrace it, and other business owners might say, well, we don't have a choice, we need to embrace it, right? So but it's definitely a hot topic. You're quite right. It's the buzzword lately. Tell me, Harold, the what would your take be on the current market sentiments, at the moment?
Around what topic? Just general optimism, or
Yeah, just optimism. Yeah,
I think a lot of people right now are, at least domestic US, are watching a lot of stimulus money work its way out of the system. And so we're coming off of that sort of major financial aspirin that we all were given during the COVID headache. And
mm,
so what we're seeing now is a lot of job losses. See, our business is, we do a lot of onboarding and offboarding of employees for all of these companies. So we're going to know
right.
on Tuesday or Wednesday of this week all the people that are going to be losing their jobs on Friday, right? Because it's just the nature of what we do.
Of
So
what
we're
you guys
seeing a
do.
lot of jobs just sort of disappear through this quiet efficiency that is building up through a lot of these systems, whether it's the AI initiatives of the companies that are using them, or it's the AI initiatives of the tools that those companies are using. So eventually,
Yeah,
most companies are going to experience these improvements. Right now, it's just the early adopters who are benefiting from it handsomely. So the sentiment right now is that people are noticing, whoa, we just saw Bob lose his job, and I don't think they're refilling that position. So that makes a whole bunch of people get nervous. Oh, do I have to
Yes.
take on his job? But then they also are realizing, wait a second, I'm able to do that report in a tenth of the time that I used to because I just put it into Chat GPT. So the speed at which everybody's going to realize these AI benefits is going to affect the sentiment in a either positive or negative way or both.
Yeah.
And then you add on a little bit of remote work, and companies are still really trying to just figure out what do we, how much room do we have to work here to improve things. They're also watching things like Twitter get whatever it was, 80% of their employees just let go because of that efficiency play, and notice, well, the thing still is working. So other companies are going, huh, maybe we can
We do
also
the same.
become more efficient.
Yeah, because everybody wants to obviously save buck on their operational costs, right? So, I mean, come to think about it, you guys are actually one of the best companies that's got like a driving seat of actually noticing and having a look at the data to be able to see, geez, because of this technology, these jobs are not here, or they're not like refilling them, like you said, replacing the people. So, that's in itself is a scary thought. But just it's realistic, right?
It is. So if you think about all of the efficiency that's just going to be freed up
Yeah,
by all of these technological innovations,
yeah,
there's a lot of little air bubbles and pockets of profitability that need to be sort of grabbed and realized. That requires a real keen focus by businesses on their cost structure, on the way they measure their profitability, the way they measure things. The old days they said, what measures, or measure what matters, I should say.
yeah.
Make sure you have those key performance indicators. A lot of small businesses still don't do that. And so I think we're seeing more companies get a better handle on measuring what actually matters in their business. It's harder to do for certain information workers or creative environments,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
ultimately that's going to show them what's happening. And I think it's incumbent upon businesses to really put that magnifying glass up to their business and say, okay, where do we need to be a bit more streamlined, or where can we be more streamlined? And if our
Streamlined.
employees are getting more efficient, how can we make that an okay thing, not something they need to hide, right? If they're just doing their job in 2 hours a day and goofing off for the other 6 hours in the day, that might be fun for a while, but it's not ultimately in their best interest, because eventually a company's going to go, hey, wait a second, that person's not working. We don't need that position.
Yeah, good point you're making there. Harold, I think this is a good sign that you tell the listeners more specifically what it is that your company does.
Yeah, we do a pretty focused thing, and it was exacerbated by COVID. So during COVID, office managers were coming into the office, getting computers and sending these laptops out to all of their employees who had sort of left the office and gone back to wherever they were originally from. So we are the sort of the logistics resource for small businesses to be able to manage all of their devices, regardless of where their employees are.
Yeah.
They park their laptops in our facility. When they hire somebody, we pull it off the shelf. We put all the software on it for them, send it to the employee. Similarly, when they let go of someone, we send them a box with a return label, and we do all the IT stuff underneath it: device management, uh, applications, access control, user authentication, all those things. So we're a traditional managed service provider, which is we just do IT for small businesses, and then we do this layer of ship logistics on top of that, which makes it so that small businesses can grow and not have to sort of deluge their office manager with a lot of boxes and
Yeah.
labels. And.
And because for a lot of these companies, I believe that would be tedious as well. Just having a department or people just taking care of those things are obviously things they don't necessarily want to spend money on, specifically from a permanent position point of view, right?
Correct. And especially since so many people bailed on their office space, you literally have founders that have laptops sitting in their apartments,
Yeah,
and
everywhere,
they
right?
don't want to be dealing with that. So there's a lot of logistics that go in into it. And it's really important now that employees, remote employees, have the tools to be able to do their job, and
Yeah.
that the companies have the tools to be able to secure those devices so that the corporate data is protected, because now it's in a coffee shop or a WeWork facility or somewhere else, and they can't really control that without really good device management software. So we use state of the, or best in class tools to manage those devices for our clients.
Harold, you've mentioned a couple of good value points that you guys bring to the table. But out of your words, right, out of your mouth, what would you say are the most significant value that your business provide other businesses with?
Yeah, so we're really good at using computers, and people forget that. They're so busy using their computers and going on Google. They tell us, hey, just please do this for me. What they don't ask, which they should
Yeah.
ask, is they should ask us, how do you guys do it? And they should just copy what we do, because we're really good at using computers the right way. And yes, we're power users, and yes, we use maybe more keyboard shortcuts than average people. But one of the best things a company can do is ask your computer consultant or your IT person, how do you do this? How should we be using this? Because what a lot of people, they treat us more like, facilities, or just these, very low level enablers of technology, rather than business consultants, which we really can make a business run better. And usually
Mm.
what happens is the IT person says, hey, you really should do this. And the person goes, oh, yeah, I'm good. And they don't really use it. And so they end up, using the computers like glorified adding machines and typewriters, rather than tremendous productivity tools. And over time, IT people get a little bit jaded and cynical watching customers do the wrong thing, right? The same way a
Yeah.
dentist gets a bit cynical watching their patients not floss, not brush their teeth, and then come in because they've got
That's a
a
good
root
analogy.
canal. And that,
Yeah,
and the
well,
same thing is, and the same thing with the dentist world is, the dirty secret is they make more money when you don't take their advice. And we make more money when you don't take our advice. So the best
yeah.
thing a company can do is just say to your IT person, hey, how do you do this? And really listen to what they say and let them show you all the tools they use. Because we do it better than most people, but they don't ask us for that. Instead, they just say, I need a new email address.
The sorry, well, regarding this value, this is excellent. I actually fully understand now, what it is you guys offer differently. Tell me, Harold, do you perhaps maybe have an example of, like a client that might have used someone else, and they took you guys on board, and like a big difference that you guys made for them by offering your services?
Yes, I mean, people will part with their IT companies for all sorts of reasons, right? They're really, a lot of the time, um, they don't feel like they're getting preemptive or proactive support. There's two
Yeah,
complaints in our industry. We always have to call you, or we never have to call you, which is sort of funny. Um,
yeah,
the,
it is.
the, the benefit we've found when we work with a new client is
Mm.
that we give them the templates to just get going and not reinvent the wheel. As a matter of fact, one of the ebooks that we're about to release is about how to make your business just more boring. On the computer side of things, your technology stack should be boring. It should be very run of the mill, nothing fancy. Now, the problem with that is the IT people like creative stuff. So the worst case that can happen is a small business owner will say, hey, it's Treg over here. I don't want to pay for that Google license. Could you guys maybe figure out a way that I could still use this drive without having to pay Google for those accounts? And a creative person goes, oh, wow, that's cool. I can be a creative solution and save my client money. And then the next thing you know, they've got this jerry-rigged thing that kind of works. And every once in a while it doesn't work, and they have to call the IT person and they feel really important. That's not a good way to do your IT. The way you want to do your IT is boring as hell, and then it just works. And you'll know it's working well when you can fire your IT company without fear. So we actually get our clients to the point where they can fire us if they want and are not afraid to. And most of them don't fire us because it's just working well and they don't want to have to deal with that. But that requires not being so creative not trying to be creative about saving money on expenses. Instead, it's really making your IT as boring as it can be.
Got it. If we can maybe, because I would like to get your opinion on, not necessarily the industry, but just like business in general. What would you say, Harold? What type of mindset, rather, would you say is needed to be a successful founder of a company?
Um, well, from a founder standpoint,
Yeah,
you 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 need all the ingredients. You can't just have the great idea without the execution, and you
yeah,
can't just be ready to execute without something that's fundamentally good. I'm obviously early on in the process. You need to get someone that you don't know to part with their money. Okay. Because your family is going to tell you how wonderful the idea is, and your friends are going to tell you how wonderful, and your brain is going to tell you how amazing it is. And you're going to buy the logo, and you're going to bit the URL, and you're going to make the website, and you're going to get the screenshots. And all that time, no one is giving you their money. And it's not that first friend of yours who you just convinced to. It's got to be someone you don't know giving you that
mhm,
money. So that's definitely one thing that people need to be thinking about. The other thing is, as you're building it, you need to get the heck out of the way to make sure that whatever you're building does not require you completely in order for it to move forward. So you need to make sure that you're acting as though you are a much larger business and
yeah,
structure everything. Don't have Treg at domain name. Okay. That's cute. That's fun. That's a nice vanity email. That's not going to scale when you get to 50 or 100 people. So
good point.
start like you're a 100-person company. Act like that. Don't be bureaucratic for bureaucratic sake, but act like you're a big company operationally, and it will be easier for you to get there as you grow.
Harold, that's excellent advice. Quite profound, I must say. Tell me, where can they get hold of you?
Years ago, we got mann.com, mann.com. So that's the best way to reach us. And I'm Harold Mann. I'm busy on LinkedIn. I'm closing in on 10,000 connections on LinkedIn, which is fun. I'm got
Yeah,
a lot of, I work with a lot of companies, a lot of business owners. We love connecting with people. We love helping people be more productive. So I'd say, yeah, Harold Mann on LinkedIn. I'm the older one. There's another guy. We look
oh, is
very
there
different.
another Harold or another man?
There's another Harold Mann,
Oh,
but
okay.
he went to USC and I went to Cal. So there's, we're
But I mean,
the
how small is
it's
this
very
world?
different.
Was that
Um,
bias? Was that bias in the interview?
yeah, and man.com has all of our stuff. And if people want to talk, we love to meet with small businesses and help them grow.
Excellent. I can fully understand why you guys are so successful, and I mean, just thinking about these value points that we discussed earlier. Harold, thank you for coming on. All the best going forward to you and your business. Would love to have you back on one day to touch base again. And thanks for hopping on. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care.